Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of HR Mentorship Speech Contest. It is actually the inaugural edition, and I'd like to thank the judges and all the contestants. Indeed, for putting yourself forward, you are already a winner. My name is Oluyemi Adeosho, and I would like to just acknowledge first and foremost the judges for this contest. The first judge and evaluator is Aderele Amosu and is the head of People and Culture, Be Free Limited. Next judge and evaluator is Pamela Elekwachi. She's the HR manager with Capital Sage Holdings. Our third judge and evaluator is Ezine Obiora, who is the chief HR and operations officer with Fimo Vision. We also have a special guest evaluator and judge. Her name is Kumbi Adeoti, and she is the Chief People Experience Officer, Leadway Group. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll also quickly like to appreciate the contestants. But a few minutes before starting this program, and by planning, the winner of this contest was supposed to get 25,000 naira. But guess what? 5 minutes to the start, the price money was doubled from 25 to 50,000. So the stakes are higher, and I'm happy for the first. Unfortunately, the price for second and third remains the same. It's just that the gap is now widened. May the best man or best woman win. Ladies and gentlemen, the rules have been clearly explained to the contestants. For us, participants, all we just need to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'd like to bring forward the first contestant for today. Her name is Zalum Onyechi, and she's an HR professional. The title of her speech is The Importance of Employee Engagement Activities in Fostering Collaboration and Building a Culture that Retains People. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking on the topic, the importance of employee engagement activities in fostering collaboration and building a culture that retains people. Let's welcome Zalum Onyechi. Your time starts now.
Thank you everyone for this opportunity. I do not take it lightly. So for me, right, whenever I hear the term collaboration, it rings a bell to me because as human beings, we are social beings. We like being among people. We like having interactions with people. And as such, collaboration is such an important value or important skill set in the workplace. So I can't even imagine myself being in a workplace whereby I can't be able to collaborate or work with people on certain things, that I'm afraid to talk to people about things, I'm afraid to ask questions. That would be a very tragic workplace to be in. So collaboration is a key value that is integral in the success of any organization. However, if you notice closely, it is one value that is usually more paper-based than reality-based. So what you observe in organizations is that organizations will have values like collaboration, teamwork, synergy, togetherness, all together for better etched in their core values. But sometimes in reality, you don't really see that collaboration, that togetherness, that synergy playing out in real life within the workplace. So employees usually are either working in silos, or what you observe is more of an intra-departmental collaboration rather than we observe an intra-departmental collaboration rather than an interdepartmental collaboration, meaning that within specific units or functions, team members there freely collaborate with each other, but across different functions, people don't really collaborate with each other. So one might ask, right, what is workplace collaboration? And simply put, workplace collaboration is the process of employees working together, sharing knowledge, and leveraging diverse skills to achieve common organizational goals. Effective workplace collaboration helps to increase innovation, knowledge sharing, and just improve overall job satisfaction. It makes the workplace more enjoyable. And I mean, your workplace is where you spend at least about 8 hours of your day within it every day. So imagine if you don't have a place where you feel comfortable and you feel supported by members in your workplace, be it your team or even other departments. So achieving workplace collaboration within any organization can count positively towards building a workplace culture that encourages employee retention. So I know it might not be so pronounced to a lot of people, but one thing I personally have observed is that working in an organization that does not promote collaboration can stall achievement of tasks and can lead to low job satisfaction. So just imagine if you're being put on a project, if you're given a task, and you have to work together with a lot of other departments, and the success of that task is dependent on everybody working together, pulling their weight and achieving their set targets. So, but imagine in a place, in a workplace where there's no collaboration, where people don't feel the need that, oh, okay, I need to do my part to be able to help you, that my input is going to be used for your own output. They don't have that thinking. So it will just make the work just very tiresome. And also it would delay in terms of meeting the deadline, which would not tell good on you in during like performance appraisals. So in addition, having a silo mindset as well does not promote growth and knowledge sharing, which is essential for longevity. So to ensure a process outlives any individual, there's a need for organizations to promote and encourage knowledge sharing through collaboration. And as such, one way that an organization can do this is through employee engagement activities. I'm sure a lot of us within our workplace have participated in one employee engagement activity or the other. And I'm sure we all sort of know how fun those might be. But you probably might not have thought about it in the sense that those employee engagement activities are actually strategic in nature. So it's not just about, letting people, build, connect, be happy in the workplace. So those employee engagement activities help build connections. So employee engagement activities can go a long way to foster collaboration and create a work environment that encourages retention. So one thing that what I want everyone to do from today is to look at employee engagement activities as beyond being fun time at work. So it's beyond, okay, that we are all laughing together, we're all playing together. It's more strategic in nature and it can be used to achieve employee retention if done properly. So firm-wide employee engagement activities, they play a role in breaking down silos and promoting interdepartmental interactions. So the more firm-wide activities that are being done, the more you get to break down those silos and people get to interact with one another. Because what you see sometimes, in organizations is that within, especially very large organizations where they have a lot of departments, a lot of units, a lot of functions, right? You see people, they don't even know themselves. Some people don't even know certain functions or units exist within the organization. So even when you ask them, oh, what about this? They'll be like, oh, we don't have that. And yet it does actually exist. So a lot of those very large organizations, these type of interdepartmental employee engagement activities is very necessary as it helps build relationship with others across different departments, which makes it easier to ask for help when tasks are given for that require a specific skill set. So imagine if you have connections, and that's why it's even important outside of work, building your network, your connection base. So even within the workplace, when you build your connection base, it helps you get things done quicker. So if you have, people that you relate with, that you've worked with on certain tasks or projects within other departments, it helps you in the future when you have other tasks that you need to achieve. So, for example, if I have someone in IT that I've worked with or something, if I have a particular task that requires me to, maybe I have to do a competency framework for an IT function. Maybe I'm working as a consultant and I have to do a competence framework for IT function. I get to be able to ask that person I collaborated with in the past to share their knowledge and their expertise. So employee engagement activities opens up that doorway for you to connect with people within your workplace across several departments. So and such an activity can be very simple. It doesn't need to be extremely elaborate. It can be as simple as doing like an inter-house sports. Just like when we were in school and you have inter-house sports and people from different classes are all in your house. So you get to interact with people that are your seniors, your juniors, and that way you get to learn more from different people. So additionally, strategic employee engagement activities like an innovation challenge or an innovation day fosters creativity and helps bring employees together to suggest innovative ideas that help to solve ongoing organizational problems. So
Time up.
sometimes,
Thank you so much, Zalum Onyechi. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this intersection, please let's use all the emojis, emoticons we at our disposal to appreciate and celebrate our first contestant, Zalum Onyechi. All right. Before I bring on the second speaker, even though I had highlighted how we manage time, I'm introducing an additional factor. When you see that I'm spotlighting myself with you, you have 15 seconds left. Once both of us are beside each other on the screen, say the grace. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Our next contestant is Femi Omosain and is the HR manager, Gabriel Franco Logistics Limited. His pitch title is Fear of Job Replacement and Lack of AI Literacy, Causing Anxiety and Resistance Among Staff. Speaking to us this evening on fear of job replacement and lack of AI literacy causing anxiety and resistance among staff, let's welcome Femi Omosain. Your time starts now. Femi, you need to unmute. Femi, you need to unmute.
Thank you very much. Okay. Imagine giving 10 years, 20 years of your life to a company, and one day you came back to work, and it happens that there's a new machine, there's a machine or an AI that can do your work faster. And also imagine a company that is investing heavily into artificial intelligence, but there's a little training, little communication, and little guidance, and little reassurance for the employee as per the future of what their work will be. Now, AI has become a main thing in today's world, and AI has become a thing that everybody has to grapple with. So, new technologies brings new fears. They bring new sudden threats to people everywhere, particularly employees of companies. And that is why it is important that we draw attention to this topic and try to allay the fears and to help to bring good reasoning and good solution to how we can manage this as a HR in our spaces as HR. So the topic is very, very vital because it borders directly as to what we do as HR. But First of all, what is fear of a job replacement? That has to do with somebody seeing his job being threatened. And what about anxiety of that is caused by AI literacy? There's a little or no understanding of what AI is amongst many workplaces, and that is because many companies, many firms, they don't really put in place something, a structure, a plan to ensure that their staffs are educated, they are guided, and they're given the necessary tool to engage and to master the new technologies that comes out. And that engenders fears in the heart of many staff. And particularly, you cannot really blame staff for the fear of AI or the fear of a new technology. You fear what you don't know, particularly when you encounter something that is powerful and that you don't understand. Your natural tendency is to fear it, is to resist it. You fight it because you don't know it. So the reason why there's a lot of fear among employees when it comes to AI transformation, it has to do because majorly because there have been little structure in place put in place by company to address this issue. And so it is important that we understand how important this is to ensure that for us as HRO to make our employee productive, we have to put in place structure to ensure they have what it takes to engage with the new technology and to bring out the best in them. According to a research by HR Dive, it says that most companies, they are not prepared, they are not ready to put in place the necessary structure and engagement that we engage their staff to get them to understand what AI is all about. But my understanding of this is, should we blame the staff for the fear of AI? The answer is no. And that is because the companies, the firms have not put in place a structure, a plan to ensure that these staff are well educated, they are well guided, and they are well trained to engage the new technologies. So many staff are wondering, will my years of experience be wasted? Will technology replace the value that I'm able to offer? Will I become useful to the company in the face of the new technology? The answer is there is a solution to this. And then one of the solutions is that companies have to begin to engage, begin to, apart from investing into new technology, they have to put in place a system, a structure for training and retraining of their staff. And secondly, there have been poor communication from companies. Most companies, they don't have a good system of communicating everything about AI. They are very quick to engage AI, but without understanding that AI is supposed to support human being, but not to actually replace them totally. Because that is also supported by a research by IBM that says that that most businesses, they believe that AI is something that can be taught, that can be led, and is something that people will love to engage with. But companies haven't been able to communicate this and to open up a way for staff to engage. And so there's a framework that I thought of that I know can address the issue of the fears, of the resistance that comes with AI. And the framework is called the human framework. What is human framework? The human represent honest communication. Companies and firms have to become honest in their communication of what AI is all about. It's not about secrecy. Employees, they need understanding. They need understanding and training of what AI can offer them and what they can benefit and how they can use it. They are afraid of AI, not because AI is an enemy. AI is not the enemy. The enemy has been our approach to engaging with AI. So with honest and open communication, we're able to, create an understanding an environment where staff can understand what this thing is all about. The second one is a upskilling, training of the staff. So there have to be a structure for training the staff out of season and in season, such that they will stay at the cutting edge of the recent knowledge in AI, and they can use it to improve their output in the work that they do. And the M is a mindset shift. So for us to progress, to address this challenge, there has to be a mindset shift, and that has to be occasioned by the leaders of company, leaders of businesses. And the next one is the A, augmentation. Now AI comes. There's a research by Kendry that says that the AI is here to augment humans' work, not to replace human being. So that means that AI is a partner with human being. We cannot replace human being because there are some things that as humans we cannot really. AI does not have empathy, cannot follow ethical framework, but human being with partnership with a human being, AI can become a good servant with human being. So the N has to do with a nurturing trust. Human being, AI move at a fast speed, but human trust evolves over time. So the solution and the best fit is to have a partnership between AI usage and using AI to partner with a human being to increase their productivity at work, and to ensure that that company creates an environment where AI can become a useful servant, but not something to replace human being. Because there are things that the AI cannot do that human being will always be able to do. And then lastly, the companies that use AI, they will go a very long way. But the company that engage AI in partnership with human being, they're going to go a lot further. So the main issue is that AI is not coming to for those staff that are not trained. AI can replace them, but
Thank you so much.
for the staff,
The
thank
time
you,
is up.
sir. Thank you, sir.
So let's catch our breath. I hope you are enjoying the session as much as I am. I'm going to bring up the next contestants. Please, let's work within time. It's critically important. Time may be the difference. Don't let AI chop your money.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, fantastic. The third contestant for this HR mentorship speed contest is Deborah Unko, and she's a people operations manager with Be Free Limited. The title of her speech, The Human in Human Resources, Why Empathy is a Competitive Advantage. Speaking to us this evening on the topic, The Human in Human Resources, Why Empathy is a Competitive Advantage. Let's welcome Deborah Unko. Over to you, ma.
Thank you so much. Good day, distinguished judges, respected guests, and my fellow HR professionals on this call. Thank you so much for having me. I would like to begin with a story. So imagine a young employee in Nigeria. You wake up at 4:30, you get on the road and you resume work by 7:30 a.m. She has left home in darkness, risking her personal safety. She has spent hours in traffic and she's arriving at work already exhausted. She smiles through meetings, she responds to emails, she attends presentations, delivers targets excellently. But what nobody knows is that the night before, electricity was unavailable. She barely slept because she stayed awake, fanning herself through the heat. Her salary is stretched thin by transport costs, rising food prices, family responsibilities, and somewhere between trying to survive and trying to succeed, she's breaking. Yet, when she briefly struggles at work or she drops the ball, the first response she receives is, "You need to do better. If you're not ready to work, just say so." Sometimes they even dock her pay. No conversation, no understanding, no humanity. Sadly, this is not fiction. This has been my reality, and this has been the reality of so many employees across the Nigerian workplace today. Because there's a particular type of tiredness that we have all experienced, we can all speak to. It's not the tiredness that sleep can fix. It's the tiredness of answering, "Oh, I'm great. How are you?" Because professionalism has taught many people that being vulnerable is dangerous. Yet, despite this, people will still show up carrying expectations heavier than their job descriptions. This is why I think the conversation around HR must change. Somewhere along the way, workplaces are excellent at measuring performance while they completely disconnect from the people behind that performance. We build systems that can track productivity with precision, but we fail to recognize emotional exhaustion until it starts affecting business results. We celebrate people for being always available, for skipping their leave, for being on call 24/7, and we've created cultures where rest is viewed as laziness and being burnt out is a badge of honor. But people are not machines. And no matter how advanced workplaces become, organizations will rise or fall based on the quality of how they treat their people. In many organizations, employees are valued primarily for what they can produce, the value they can give, and not who they are. We often talk about human capital, but it seems like we only remember the capital and completely forget about the human. And the effects are all around us. Look at our staff. People are burnt out before they turn 30. People are mentally exhausted, but they're afraid to speak up because they don't want to be replaced. They don't want Oga to talk. But some are grieving privately and they are still being expected to meet targets. Some are struggling financially despite earning a good salary. Some are losing their lives trying to keep up. Some are one emergency away from emotional collapse. What support is given to these people? What support is granted to them? Because they will still resume because they have no alternative. This is why empathy is no longer just a nice personality trait for HR professionals or leaders to have. It is a serious organizational advantage. I recently conducted a poll on my socials where I asked people, would you rather work in a place with a toxic environment but high pay, or do you want to receive average pay or wonderful work experience? It shouldn't come as a shock to anyone that over 70% of people that took that poll they said they prefer to work in a place with average pay, good work culture, because they spend most of their time working and they want peace of mind. They want peace of mind. Employees are innovative when they feel psychologically safe. They contribute when they feel they can trust leadership. They collaborate better in environments where dignity exists. And contrary to what many people think, empathy does not mean lowering organizational standards or encouraging poor performance. Empathy means you understand that your employee is a human being before they are just a cell on your Microsoft Excel sheet or your HRIS or your ERP or whatever it is you use. An empathetic leader can still pursue excellence while treating people with compassion. An empathetic HR professional can enforce policy without humiliating people and degrading them. Empathy is very simple. It looks very simple. It's a manager that notices that, oh, this person used to be very energetic and now they've just become withdrawn and they choose to ask questions before just making snap assumptions. It's leadership recognizing that a staff member's recent lateness, it may not be because of irresponsibility. It could be traffic, could be flooding if you're in Lagos like me. It could be transport issues, security concerns, or just personal struggles. It's HR creating systems that support employee well-being instead of only reacting when productivity drops, because the truth is that many Nigerian employees are carrying invisible responsibilities outside the workplace. We hear about black tax, we hear about different assignments people have to bear, but despite everything, they continue to work. Not because they are superhuman, but because they feel they have no choice. This is why empathy matters. It's not because it's morally right or because organizations function better in that case, but the truth is organizations do function better when their people function better. People become more committed to environments where they feel respected. The best workplaces are remembered not because of title or salary. Those things are good. They are very good. But people remember environments where they felt seen. They remember environments where their leaders listened to them. through difficult seasons. They remember workplaces where they were treated like human beings instead of replaceable resources. This is why it seems successful organizations now, especially in Nigeria, they are trying to clinch that best place to work award. And the future of work cannot only be about automation, artificial intelligence, digital transformation. The future of work must also be about emotional intelligence. It goes beyond just being able to tell people what to do, prepare KPIs, drag people for not delivering on what is expected of them. It actually goes into understanding why people are the way they are, why they react the way they do, why their results fall into the places that they do, and understanding them that outside the four walls of this office, they are people. Outside this space, they exist. And then there are so many external factors that are playing a role in how they react to things internally. A machine can process your payroll. A software can monitor your attendance. AI can generate some of the best performance metrics, but people need to be seen and people need to be understood. At the center of every organization is a person hoping their effort matters. And maybe this is just what HR should ultimately stand for. Not managing people, but remembering them. My name is Deborah Unko, and I'm here to remind us to put the human back in human resources because empathy indeed is a competitive advantage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deborah
Thank you.
Unko, for your presentation. Let's take a breather. Judges, I hope we are doing well. Evaluators, I hope we are also doing well. You will note that our judges are both judges and evaluators. Evaluators because they are going to be providing comments and feedback. Before we go to the next contestants, Kumbi, I know you are pressed for time. Would you like to say anything?
Yes, I am. So first and foremost, I want to first of all say congratulations to you all for stepping out, because that in itself is a bold step. Secondly, when you do things like this, you tend to entrench yourself in the depth of the knowledge of the practice in itself. And that is no small means feat by in any measure at all, you know. And so I want to say a huge thank you to you guys for stepping out, choosing to contest. I'm not sure what the criteria is, but I have enjoyed every bit of it. I think Deborah got me a bit emotional. So, but it's okay. I just want to say thank you. I wish I can stay till the end. I'm looking forward to Yemi, whosoever wins. No, that would almost be okay. How many contestants do we have? 6 of them?
6.
6. Please nudge me so that each of them can get a copy of my book. I want to give that out. Yeah. And hopefully, maybe when you're in Lagos sometime, if time permits, because they are growing, and that's part of the way they can take from us. Because really and truly, this is mentorship at its peak. I want to also celebrate you for doing this. We could also do dinner with the 6 of them, where time permits as well. So I want to say thank you. Please don't stop. Give it everything, because the only reason we were able to get up to this point is we started like this in little different fora that we get. We started like this till we built that capacity in terms of oratory skills. One of the things I wanted to say to you, all of you, is this: when you are talking to your audience, one of it is knowing your audience, knowing your voice modulation. How do you carry your audience with you? How don't you leave them behind? How don't you appear that all you are saying has been memorized and you are just reeling out a script? It is essential that you connect to your audience when you are speaking, and you bring the reality out when you are telling the stories. what usually connects your audience the most is even your own personal story, your own experience about what you're speaking with. People won't ever forget, because that emotion, we are emotional beings, we emote, and that emotion is what connects, because somewhere along that journey, as you're telling the story, they are connecting based on their own experience. And our experience is born out of emotions that happened during the time we were going through a situation and circumstance. So once again, thank you for having me. I would love to stay, but I need to jump on another session right now. Thank you so much, and I wish every one of you the best. Thank you, judges. Excellent work that you are all doing. Thank you, Yemi.
Thank you so much, Kumbi. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think she deserves a better virtual applause. Okay, sometimes when you start something like this, you don't know what you are getting into. When we started, the winner was supposed to get 25K. Now the winner is getting 50K. Now plus a book. Now plus dinner. Please, if your heart resonates that you should participate in something, please don't hesitate. Don't look at the value and say, oh, you mean for this paltry amount I'll be contesting? That's not it. The amount is just an appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, moving swiftly to the fourth contestant. Ladies and gentlemen, our fourth contestant is Oluwayemisi Akpo. She is the Senior Human Resource Associate, Arctic Infrastructure. Our speech topic this evening is fairness and equity, implication on the organization. Fairness and equity, implication on the organization. Oluwayemisi Akpo, you have the floor. You will need to unmute, please. You are still muted. Okay, let me look for. It appears you're unable to unmute, right? Okay, I can find you now. All right, you can unmute now, and then your minute starts counting now.
Thank you very much. So over the years, ABC Construction Company has been experiencing decline in their revenue. And ABC Company is not just a small one, it's a constructive company that is renowned. Yes, but recently they started experiencing decline in their revenue, and their clients started pulling out. Partners started complaining. And the director had to ask, why? But the reason is not far-fetched. And good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, my co-speakers, the judges, and the very pioneer of HR mentorship. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Once again, my name is Oluwayemisi Akpo, and I'll be speaking to us on the topic that says fairness and equity, implication on organization. Firstly, what is fairness? We will say fairness is treating people depending on their circumstances, on their situations, with an outcome of justice. Treating people with equity, treating people without discrimination, treating people with fairness. And again, equity, we say, that is the systematic process, systemic approach to treating people which have a positive outcome on the individual. Talking about the society, for example, let's say an hospital that you are expecting sick people to come in, you are for the public. So when you are constructing, probably is a stairs, probably the first floor. When you are constructing a staircase, you think about the vulnerables, the disabled, that's having a slopey floor for them to come in, which is equitable for the society, for everyone, having quick access. For foreign nations, for developed nations, When you have people that are not disabled, that are passing the disabled lane, is an offense. That's they are being included in the society, equity for everyone, irrespective. And that will take us to why fairness and equity in an organization is very important. The implication of fairness and equity in an organization. What will it do to an organization? If there is fairness and equity in an organization, there will be development in that organization. What do I mean by development? Both individual and the organization will be developing. Financially, they'll be developing when it comes to goodwill. When I say goodwill, I mean outside there. What is the face of the organization in the environment? How do all externals perceive the organization? And from my initial illustration, I mentioned why are clients pulling out from the organization? Why are partners saying they are no more interested in doing business with them? Because when there is no fairness, when there is no equity, there is high attrition. The people feel, oh, they are not well compensated for their inputs. And that's why John Stanley says, the theory of equity, when people are not well compensated for their inputs, when their output is not equal to their input, then there is no fairness. And that's what we're saying. For every organization, for people to be well mentally, yes, because fairness being about mental health, fairness being about development, fairness being about loyalty to the company. The people are loyal to the company, the people are committed, they are engaged. So this brings about growth, it brings about development, both to individual and to organization. An organization where there is fairness, there is harmony. The people are happy. The rate of absenteeism, the rate of oh, I'm sick, is very low because the people are happy. They are spending a larger percentage of their time, talking about 8 hours in the organization. So they come to the organization, they are happy because there is harmony, there is fairness. When we're talking about fairness, we're talking about fairness in every aspect, whether it be reward, whether it be compensation, whether it be in communication, whether it be in procedure, in every aspect, we are talking about fairness and equity. Not that, oh, you are being biased, or because this one is my friend, so I will treat this one very well. And we have a standard already. We have a procedure. Okay, but because one's my friend, I can boycott. The other person will not be happy about it. And that's when you start having disgruntled staff and you start thinking, oh, how come? And that's why the initial illustration was saying, partners are thinking, why are you having high attrition? Why is it that people are leaving the organization every 1 year, every 2 years? Why is there no long term in the organization? It's not far-fetched. It is about fairness, equity. When people feel welcome, when people feel they are well compensated, when people feel they are well treated, they tend to stay longer and they see it as a family. Not just, oh, I'm just coming to earn my money, but they see it as relationship. And when you come to clients, you build relationship with clients, you are building trust. And over time, they tend to give you more projects. For people that are project companies, they tend to be more committed to you. They tend to entrust things in their heads because they believe that, yes, okay, over time, we build relationship with these people and they can be trusted. So fairness is very important and extending it to the society at large. Being fair to other people, when you meet people on the road, the society become a better place. Organization become a better place. Business-wise, economically, the society will grow. In relation, the society will grow. And we have a better community altogether. And this help us to strive both locally and internationally. Once again, my name remains Oluwayemisi. And I will conclude. Do to others what you like to do to them. And treat others how you would like them to treat you. And this help us to build society together. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Oluwayemisi. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yemisi. That was spot on. Thank you for your session and presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's okay to applaud. It's okay to shower applause. Use the respective emojis, emoticons. It's not easy to speak. I can say that for a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a breather and we'll be going to our next contestants. We have just 2 more contestants to go. And after that, we are going to get comments and feedback from the floor. Anybody who wants to say anything with respect to the contestants and the speeches, we may even ask them 1 or 2 questions as opportunity provides. And then we'll hear from the judges, both their feedback and also the outcome of the contest. Ladies and gentlemen, moving straight on to the fifth contestant. Her name is Afolabi Taiwo Afolashade. She's the Human Resource Officer at GAO Tech. And this evening, she will be speaking on the topic, fostering employee voice in human resources. Speaking on the topic, fostering employee voice in human resources. Please let's welcome Afolabi Taiwo Afolashade. You have the floor.
Good day, everyone. Today I'll be speaking about a topic that is increasingly shaping the future of work and organizational success, which is fostering employee voices in human resources. Employee voice can be defined as a process whereby an employee expresses an idea, show concern, give suggestions, and share feedback about their workplace without the fear of any punishment or embarrassment. It's not just about speaking, it's about being heard, being valued, and acted upon. So, in today's dynamic and competitive work environment, employees are no longer active participants. They are active contributors whose insights drive innovations, improve processes, and enable feedback. So, employees employees are employees are innovative. Employees are innovative in their workplace. So why is employee voice important? Employee voice is important because it brings results and it promotes engagement. When employees feel that they are emotionally connected to and emotionally supported by an organization, they form emotional bond with that organization that they are connected to. They are more willing and enthusiastic to go the extra mile with such an organization. And silence, on the other hand, signals fear and detachment from such an organization. Secondly, um, employee voice um, enhances decision making. The thing is, frontline employees have insight into the daily operations, customer needs, and organizational challenges. Ignoring their input means missing out on valuable solutions and positive, innovative ideas. Thirdly, it reduces workplace conflicts. Employee voice reduces workplace conflict and turnover. When employees have safe channels to express their ideas about their workplace, the issues are easily addressed without them escalating at all. So this is one way whereby relationship can be built within organizations with open communication and fairness, without any form of retaliation. So how does HR foster employee voice? How does HR foster employee voice? HR fosters employee voice by providing a safe, psychologically safe environment where employees can express themselves without fear of punishment, retaliation, or embarrassment. And also, HR has the role of maintaining open communication and fairness amongst other levels in the organization. So there are some ways to foster employee voice in human resources. There's 4 ways actually to foster employee voice in human resources. One of the first ways is to engage open communication. Communication should not just be annually, should not consist of annual reviews. Communication should be open and should be consistent and continual. It should be happen every time. It should be consistent. Another thing is to conduct employee surveys. most organizations, for instance, actually conduct surveys to know about the work environment and improvements to know about the organization. Another thing is to organize team meetings, and also to create a safe supporting channel whereby they can express their opinions without the fear of punishment. In conclusion, fostering employee voice is not just an HR strategy, it's a pathway to organizational success. Um, when employee voices are heard, it gives the organization capacity. It makes them stronger, and it also improves communication. It increases innovation, and it trust grows, and productivity rises. So it also, one of the things that it also does, in what employee voice does in fostering in HR. um Human resources can create a workplace um where employees can can express themselves openly, confidently, and that they are respected. So as HR professionals, we are to not just manage employees, we are to listen to them, because an employee can have the solution to an organization's biggest problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Please let's celebrate Taiwo Afolabi. Thank you so much, Taiwo. We have just two male contestants, and I'll be bringing in this final contestant and the second male. I'm always happy to see men in people management. Hope you're having fun so far this evening. Ebuka, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I just wanted to test your mic.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, contestant 6 and final contestant is Chukwuebuka Ideaja, and is the HR business partner for Gresdale Legal. This evening, he'll be speaking to us on the topic, the flexibility paradox, why Gen Z may struggle or succeed in leadership role. The flexibility paradox, why Gen Z may struggle or succeed in the leadership role. Let's welcome Chukwuebuka Ideaja. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good evening, panel of judges, my co-speakers, and the audience. I'll start with a short story. So I was scrolling through LinkedIn a while back, and I stumbled on a post by an employer. He's not a Nigerian. So according to him, an employee of his asked for some days off to deal with a breakup from her past relationship. Interestingly, he approved it. But however, I thought about it. What would the Nigerian employer do about that? I don't know, but maybe I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the generation called the Generation Z, or better put, Gen Z. This generation was born between 1997 and 2012. So they basically grew up experiencing the global pandemic, economic instability, global inflation, and layoffs. Also, they were fortunate enough to also be born during the technological era. So they weren't just born during the advent of technology, they were literally born into it. And according to a report by the World Economic Forum, Gen Zs make up to about 24 to 30% of the global population, which means in every workplace, we have about one or two Gen Zs in the workplace. So we need to also understand what their work ethic or behavioral characteristics are. So Gen Zs are generally job hoppers. A research by Randstad says that the average job stint of a Gen Z is a year. That means 6 months into a new role, a Gen Z is already looking for the next available opportunity. They don't like to work under pressure. They like to live life on their own terms. They prioritize mental health, which is interestingly becoming a global conversation. They are entrepreneurial, which they have made influencing and freelancing to become a thing in the 21st century, which is good. They believed in work smart, not hard, not to stress yourself. And they are flexible, curious, and likes to pursue purpose. Now, with going back to the topic, we need to understand what's leadership in the 21st century. Now, according to a report by World Economic Forum, the skills for leaders in the 21st century, they include digital fluency, emotional intelligence, cross-cultural competency, resilience, and the ability to coach and inspire people. I would also add adaptability, amongst others. Now, if you remove cross-cultural competency and digital fluency, you are going to observe that the other skills are the foundational, they are the foundational blocks of leadership, which means these skills have traversed generations. They have been tested and trusted to be true, which means these skills are crucial for today's workforce and the workforce of the future. Interestingly, leadership in the current century is gradually moving from authority to influence. It's moving from micromanagement to partnership. Now, HR leaders are bringing up conversations around coaching, mentorship, and empathy, and also humanity, which we always talk about bringing back the human in human resources. Now, a wise man once said, leadership should be transformational. Leadership should not just be transformational, but consistent in its input and output. Now, we need to know how Gen Z responds to leadership. So, according to a Deloitte survey, 6% of Gen Zs said reaching senior leadership positions is their primary career goal. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, we are seeing a generation that is backing out from leadership. Now, this is not a welcome development. This is a ticking time bomb. It is a global problem that HR leaders, organizations, and nations should address sooner than later. Now, I would like to bring a question to you. And these are two choices. Given what you've heard about Gen Zs, Gen Z or millennials, who would you choose? Now, this is not a Ronaldo or Messi debate, but whichever answer you choose, for whatever reasons, the truth is the baton will be passed eventually from the millennials to the Gen Z. But we are at a crossroad, unfortunately. And the crossroad is, should we allow the millennials to hold on to the reins of leadership for the longest, or should we depend on a generation that is backing out from leadership? Now, personally, I think the Gen Zs should be given the opportunity to lead, insofar as they can learn the foundational blocks of leadership, because these foundations have been tested and trusted to be true across generations. Now, while I understand the Gen Zs and where they are coming from, it's important for them to understand that leadership is not just a job, it's a calling, sometimes beyond yourself. It's a call to lead, to influence, and to impact. I understand their advocacy about flexibility, but flexibility is good, but it must be matched with intensity, urgency, and dexterity. It is important they understand that for them to be exceptional leaders, they need to embrace accountability and resilience and not shy away from I don't want to do much. I don't want to work under pressure. That is not the quality of being a leader. Therefore, I call on HR leaders to train and groom Gen Zs towards attaining future leadership positions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ebuka, for your session. And that's the final presentation, final contestants. Let's applaud, let's appreciate. Let's applaud, let's appreciate. You have all done well. You have all done well. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So I'd like to know if our judges are ready with their evaluations and outcomes. However, pending when I get any feedback or show of hands from any of the facilitators, evaluators to provide evaluation, we are also open to comments or feedback or insights from any of our participants, especially people that joined the session from the beginning, especially people who joined. If you have any comments, if you have any quick insights you want to share, all right, please be kind. It's very important. Please be kind. All right, so we'll take the evaluation first. Ladies and gentlemen, the first judge I'll be bringing up for his evaluation is Aderele Amosu. Aderele Amosu, you can go ahead with your evaluation.
All right. Good evening once again, everyone. Once again, I mean, to the contestants, a round of applause for yourselves once again for taking out time to come share some knowledge with us. I will take it one after the other, well, based on how I was ranking people, and I'll start with Zaloom. So I won't tell you what the scores are, but I'll just give you the general overview of what I think your speech looks like. So, I mean, Zalo, for me, you had a good command of English, and while you were going through your speech, it was very clear that you are an orator, right? You are one of those people who, whenever you get into a room, you can hold a conversation, you can speak, you can hold your audience spellbound, right? However, while you were going through your speech, one of the things I kept looking out for was looking at people's eyes, because some of us may not have been prepared enough and we write our points down on a piece of paper or write it on the screen since we are looking at our screen, and your eyes were falling almost like you were looking at a teleprompter, right? I may be wrong, but that was how we looked at from this side. Also, while you were going through your point, I didn't exactly see a call to action, because even though this is not a debate, it is a speech. Even with speeches, you'll get calls to action. I didn't almost see that. Now, whether speech, whether a debate, you can see as I'm talking, my hands are equally moving, right? Hand gestures also help you in driving your points. So that's something I think you can take as feedback. Overall, I think you did excellently well. And I know that by the time we want to have the debate or we have another session, I want to see you again. And this time I want you a lot more prepared, right? And I want you to come and deliver exceptionally. All right. Okay. For the next person, Femi. Femi, your opening, I loved your opening. Your opening was very strong, right? Excuse me. I wrote it here that your opening was very strong. However, the more you kept going along, your speech, I was beginning to lose a bit of the things you were saying, almost like your points were no longer as connected as before. And then it was like you were also rushing through the speech, maybe because Dr. Oliemi had said that we had to work within an allotted time. But regardless of the allotted time that you have, you needed to take pauses. You had some points that I got. And the thing about speeches is when you drop a punchline, take a pause, let people reflect on that punchline before you move on to the next point. So it was almost like you needed to just walk through your points, right? And not allow a lot of those things sink in. One of the other things that I also want to commend you on, which I I think if you go into another session with us, either in a debate or in another speech, was that you were using clear HR principles. In some of your points, you would mention an HR principle and then you would drive home your points, right? So once again, Femi, congratulations and well done on that speech. The third person, Deborah Unko, what I'll say is, or you know what? Let me just give this because I'd said I wasn't going to evaluate, I wasn't going to judge and score Deborah because of proximity, but one of the things I'd just like to say is, and apart from the fact that we've worked together, yes, good communication and your delivery was hitting home. You gave me the pauses where I needed pauses. There was also good storytelling. However, where I think you did not do well was actually tying some of your points to particular HR pillars. If you see some of the things that we were judging people on were mentorship messages connecting to HR values, right? So it was more like you were glossing through, you understand the concept, but you are speaking to professionals. Sometimes most of us want to hear which of the pillars are you speaking to. So you need to mention some of these pillars while you're speaking. And like I said, I feel like a proud dad just listening to you, so I'm just going to skip that. For the fourth person, Yemisi Akpo. Yemisi, your voice carried. Now you have the voice that says you control the room. You were not too loud, you were not soft spoken. It was almost like it looked more as if anybody was joining this call when you were speaking, one would think it was a debate and not a speech contest. And I like how your voice was carrying all through, right? The way you were talking, if someone was doing something, your voice would bring that person back into what you were saying. So that was very, very commendable. However, while you were speaking, you didn't follow a flow. So it was almost like you would speak, then you probably lose the point at some point, you go to another point. Then while you're going through that point, you remember something you should have said before, then you go back. So sometimes I wasn't getting the flow of your points. Now, during speeches, is like when you're building a house, you have your foundation, you have the building, you have your roof. Everything should follow that moment. Your last point, your last statement in the first point should flow into the first statement in the next point. It has to follow a flow. So regardless of how that flow was, you had a very assertive voice. And that's something that would go well for you. I mean, even in the workplace, while you are, sharing points, maybe you are given a task and you need to present your task, you had this assertiveness in your voice, and please never let that leave that your voice box at any point in time. Let that assertiveness always work for you. I tell some people that sometimes when you're passing a message across, even though you don't have that flow well, the way you would present it will make people listen more to you. So well done, Yemisi. For the fifth speaker, Taiwo. Taiwo, I don't know if it was how we started initially, right? What I'll best commend you on is, you speak well, and won't take that away from you. You speak very well. However, your speech contest almost showed no preparedness. There was a lot of distraction because of no use of background. You also were not giving us eye contact because at a speech, you are trying to pass a message across. I mean, if this was a speech that was in an environment like a conference room or an auditorium, you would be expected to at least give the people in front of you a 2 second look at one person, spend 2 seconds looking at that person while you're passing your message across, look at another person. But because this is virtual, you're expected to keep looking at the camera, right? You were looking away from the camera most of your speech, right? And because of that, you were losing your audience. So that in itself, kind of took away the bite from what you were speaking on. Also, I don't think there was a lot of research that went into your topic itself because you had a very wonderful topic, right? And I feel that there's a lot that could go into it, right? But then this is courage to speak, and I want to also commend you on that courage. Now, for the last person who spoke, Chukwebuka Udeaja, um, you were one of the people who actually gave me the chronology of points, chronology of thoughts. Each point flowed, right? This is something most of the other speakers didn't give me, but the points were flowing, right? However, your delivery needs work. Just like I've mentioned in the other for the other speakers, right? How you deliver your points would give you more points for with the judges, right? At some points, uh you were not carrying us along because you would trail a bit, right? Then you would now, just remember something else and then bring it forward again. You were also not looking at the screen often, right? But one of the things that you also did when you were making a point, because I mean, you probably have football fans here, so people are supposed to be watching a final right now, but there was a Ronaldo Messi dichotomy you used, right? And that was because you wanted to strike a point. So you have to take us out of HR briefly just because you wanted to make an HR point. And that is something that some people during their speeches do not use often, right? In as much as you talk about the HR space, sometimes you know to go out of the HR space to drive a point. That way, it also shows that you are not someone who thinks you are a multidimensional, thinker, and you don't just think in one way. So overall, everybody did well. I know this is because this is the inaugural speech contest. I'm already seeing in the comment section that a lot of people now want to join the next speech contest. So please, if you are going to come for round two, I want us to come to round two with guns blazing. And for those of you who are going to join the next one, please, I want you to take the feedback that the rest of the judges are also going to give, and I need us to work on it. Thank you very much. I yield the mic to you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Adereli. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. One of the things we try to do, especially with some of the programs we introduced in 2026, is to provide feedback. When we had a session, on the talent pitch, we intentionally incorporated feedback. Sometimes some of us go for interviews or assessment and we actually don't get a feedback. And the feedback is very helpful. Even if you did well, you still need feedback. I like to call on another evaluator right now, Ezine Biora. You have the floor for your evaluation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor, and well done to all the speakers. It has been an experience this evening. First of all, congratulations for even taking the bull by the horn to speak. It's not easy to talk before people. It's not. Something Aderele said at the beginning, he was saying, so he was giving you tips on how to speak. I say to people that when you're speaking, just imagine everyone is wearing Pampers and you'll be good. But anyway, let's move on to my evaluations, because yes, I was taking notes. I don't know if I'll be as detailed as Aderele, because yeah, I tried to summarize, but I'll start from the first speaker. So Zalum, well done. I noticed that I liked how you started. It was calm. There was calm pacing. You're articulate and you were composed, right? But I wasn't too sure about the structure of your speech, because that's an important thing. The structure. I was like, okay, where's we know about the beginning, but what's happening here? I think I noticed that there was a CTA, but your CTA was somewhere in the middle of the speech when it could have been at the end. And yeah, and I've also felt that towards the end, that's when things started picking up. You started giving us things that were more engaging. So I would just like to suggest that you look into your speech structure, the way you structure, you put together your speech, right? So you have your beginning, the beginning, and then the body, make sure that things so that they flow seamlessly. And then another thing is as much as I liked how composed you were, when it comes to speeches, you also want to reel people in. So you now bring in things like vocal variety. Your vocal variety was kind of like monotonous. So please, work on that as well. Another thing was, okay, well, we noticed, I think quite a number of the speakers were not great with time. That's something that you need to work on. But on the overall, I believe you did. I think you did a good job. You were the first person to speak. Remember, yes, that's one thing I remember. You were the first person to speak, and there was stuff that happened before. So for the fact that you took the reins and then you started calmly, I commend you for that. Well done, and just keep up the good job. Just keep on improving yourself. Well done, Zalem. And then I move on to the second speaker, Femi. So Femi, I said, I like the way you started. It was like, whoa, just came in animated, and that got my attention. But, as much as you kept that energy, I felt like it started to falter along the line. And I feel like some parts seemed repetitive. There were some parts of your speech that I was like, okay, I think I've heard this before. So I'd like to recommend that you tighten it up and put structure to your speeches, right? You have the energy, you have the what's the word? Yeah, you have the energy, but yeah, channel it rightly. And then in terms of vocal variety, because you were up throughout, right? There are times for, you pace yourself. There are times you go up, you come down, there's something about speeches where you pace yourself in there, but I liked your energy. Then there's something I noted. Please, please, please. It's something that we tend to do quite a bit. When we're making public presentations, whether you're writing, putting out posts, whether you're saying things, even when you're having conversations, please make sure to support your claims. You hear things like many people, most people, few people. Support your claims with data. Because when you say those things, they're in the air. There's no backing to it. You're just saying things. Because there were certain things you were saying most companies, and I was like, where's the backup? Because somebody can take you up on that and challenge you and say, give me the stats for that. I say this, and when I have conversations with people, I say, please, what's data to back this up? So be very careful, when you put out things like that, make sure that you have done your research to back what you have said with data, right? But I really like I said, I really liked your energy. Your energy was good. It's just to finesse it in a way that, it fits in and, you're able to modulate at the right times. So Femi, well done. I did like your speech. It was interesting. Would have liked to see the CTA. To hear the CTA at the end, but hey, well done. And, keep up the good work. Now on to Deborah. Okay. Deborah, wow. You were very articulate. That's the thing, first things first, anything that catches my attention is, the way someone puts themselves across. You were very articulate. The story at the beginning piqued my interest. It was so relatable. I am sure that everyone can remember that story about the person that has to go to work and has to put up a brave face but then has to deal with the challenges of electricity from the day before and all that. It's a story that, Lagosians, mostly can relate to. And that's something about making your speech memorable. When you say something, you want people to remember you by that. And, so you put that across, and I really like that. I loved your tonal variety. There were times that I could see your passion moving through your speech, right? There were times that you could tell that she has walked this walk. Even if you haven't, right? When you're giving a speech, you can still show your passion. You can still show relatability through the stories you tell, right? So it wasn't just about theory. It wasn't that you were just reading things off a speech that you have put together. Your examples, I like the different examples you were given that, could tie us in or could make the audience engage with you, right? So like I said, your passion could be seen. I'm trying hard to find it, but I know that we've talked about how you put yourself out, whether you're face-to-face, whether you're on site, you're out there physically having a speech, or whether you're virtual. I liked your hand gestures. However, maybe because there were certain times that your hand gestures were a bit distracting. I'm not saying take it away completely, because that's what made your speech animated. However, and I do it too, so I know. But there were certain things that you might just need to just check and say, okay. But I liked your city. There was very sharp city. Your ending was very crisp, and you made good use of your time. I like the way you ended and you said, "My name is Deborah," and then you put your message out. That was fantastic. So please keep up the good work. I mean, there's always room for improvement, because I know that there will also be, I mean, Aderele said gave his area of improvement. There will also be feedback from the other judge, in terms of area improvement. There's always room for improvement. So just strive to be better and better and better at what you do. Well done. Okay, moving on to Oluwayemisi. Yemisi, the tone of your voice is very strong. I love that. Like when you started, like, oh, okay, you had that strength. That voice can carry. It can carry things. Like you can take control of whatever space you are in, right? As long as it's harnessed rightly. So first of all, I like that. I like your passion. It was very clear through your speech. I could tell, like, I could tell, that I guess you were passionate about what you were saying. However, I would have liked for your speech to have more structure. I'm not sure I saw the structure through the speech, right? I wasn't sure, okay. So yeah, it just needs to be more polished, so that you're able to take us through the journey and let us know what you're trying to pass across, and what exactly is the call to action. What are you trying to tell us? What how do you want the audience to take learnings or whatever. So yeah, work on your structure, please, but your voice, good vocal output. You also, the same thing I told Femi, as much as yes, you have a strong voice, you also have to learn the art of modulation. There are times for when you come down, there are times for when you come out, depending on the part of the speech that you're given. Yeah, so I know that Derele talked about the tying also to mentor, to the HR goals and pillars and all that, because yes, as much as I heard you talk about fairness, you need to also tie these things in so that we see the connection, yeah. So, but well done, Oluwayemisi. Keep up the good work. Just keep on bettering yourself. Watch speeches. Listen to other people that you look at as maybe take up people as mentors. Sometimes there are people I love watching speak, right? I go on TEDx and I look at people and I'm like, oh, this person, and I watch the way they speak and I learn from them. So these are things that no one is an island. You learn from people, even those that are the great orators. They're learning every day, right? So just keep at it and keep practicing. Okay, Taiwo. First of all, I want to celebrate your resilience, because we saw how everything was from the beginning, how there was some struggle, but then you wanted to do this speech. You wanted to do it by all means, and you did it. So well done for, doing the speech, because some people would have just said, you know what, but you pushed through. I do think that there could have been better preparedness. You could have better prepared, and I'm sure that you would take learnings from this. You could have done a bit more, some more preparation towards this. There was, in my opinion, some structure. However, you could have, polished it more. So I think that this is just, I mean, there will be, the recordings of this will be here. You can come back, go back and watch yourself, right? And then also watch other speeches and then take the learnings and move with them, right? Move and apply the learnings, or to your own thing. And I just believe that this is you have put yourself out here, but then there's opportunity for you to do better. So well done for coming, for even showing yourself and being part of this. There is room for you to keep on getting better at what you do. Then last but not the least is Ebuka. Ebuka, I liked your storytelling. I can't forget that story about the manager that, gave leave to his, his employee because wanted time off, I think for heartbreak or something like that. that's the way whether you start your speech like that or you give it in the middle, but if you start it like that, it keeps one interested. So my head is down. I hear that story. I'm like, okay, what does he have to say? Because at the beginning when I was hearing Gen Z, I was like, okay, let's see what he has to say. But that caught my interest. That reeled me in. And one thing I will commend you for, okay, before I get to that point, I think that, you two, there was also, you were composed, you were very articulate, but then I noted, I said I would have wanted more catch. And I think that's the same thing I said similar to what I think about Zalem. It was a calm pace speech, but then I wanted, so I wanted that, to reel us in better. I mean, you did reel me in with the storytelling at the beginning and even along the way, but I would have wanted more, for you to get us reeled in more. But one thing I commend you for is your reference to studies, to data, the quotes you gave, and I was like, good, because you kept, you would say things and then you would give your data. So I was like, yeah, he sounds like he has done his research, right? So well done for that. You also gave us food for thoughts. There were things that you talked about. You presented the thing of, okay, who would make a better manager? I think about between Gen Z and millennial, that's also controversial, but hey, it's a food for thought and a subject for discussion, right? Something to ponder over. But yeah, well done. Well done. I think that, again, it's room for improvement. It's when we give feedback, it's constructive feedback. It's not against you as a person, but it's as on your craft. We want to better you. There was something I remembered at the beginning after I had spoken. There are people that get paid to talk. And it starts from things like this, right? You keep on building your craft until people start buzzing you and saying, hey, I want you to come and talk. I want you to come and give a speech. I want you to come and, talk on a subject, and people are commanding good money from just speaking, right? So this is an opportunity, it's a training ground. So well done to everyone. Well done to you all. And one thing I'd also want to say is that for those of us that are Christians, if you remember the story of the 10 virgins, it was those that had, because you just never know. I think Dr. Yemi said it at the beginning. Some people would say, what is this? It's 25,000. Something that I spend in a week. I beg, they should go sit down. Now you came some people that decided, because I'm sure it's not really the money that brought some of us in here. It just, that opportunity to harness yourself and show yourself to the world. You now came in, you grabbed the opportunity. The prize money has been increased. Not just that, a potential dinner. Not just that, book. And who knows, some other people might see this and add more. Should you get the part about taking hold of being prepared for opportunities? Because it's not when the opportunities come that you start to wear your clothes. No, you start wearing your clothes. You start getting ready from the get-go. When it seems like the ground is fallow, that's when you start preparing, because you just never know. Somebody may watch one of you speak here and say, hey, you know what? I need you to come and give a talk somewhere, and they give you good money. So please, always, like the Boy Scout motto says, be prepared. And that's that for my evaluation. I'll hand over to Dr. Yemi. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful, well-articulated feedback. We love to give feedback. Just to mention that someone reached out and said for the second and third, so instead of 15K and 10K, the second will now get 20K and the third will now get 15K. Just to buttress what you mentioned, that you never know. Things just get better. We are going to be inviting the third and final evaluator for today. Pamela, are you available? Are you ready now? I saw her a few minutes ago. Let me just make sure that she can unmute. Yes, that has been done. You can unmute now, Pamela.
Yes. Kindly confirm that you can hear me.
Loud and clear. Thank you.
All right. Let's pull this up quickly. Okay, please confirm that you can hear me and you can see me.
I can't see, your camera is not on yet. but we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Let's pull this off. All right. Does this work?
Yes, please.
All right then. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I want to ask everybody on this call to just find the best emoji you can. And I want to see a round of applause for all our speakers today. It has been phenomenal experiencing this. I've been on the road, but I've been taking notes. My notes were almost full, but here we are. Congratulations to all our speakers. You were all courageous and speaking about the separate topics that you were given. And I think it was something we had a lot to learn also for everybody here who also has that HR background. I will be starting from our first speaker. That would be Zalum Onyechi. And my feedback for you is this. You had a fantastic topic, something that is quite modern in terms of what people want to focus on in HR nowadays, collaboration. And you went on to share the challenges that people experience. You went on to give feedback as to what we should be doing and what workplace policies we should put in place. I love that you were able to communicate clearly, right? I love that we were able to communicate clearly. The content was quite relevant to the HR professionals in the room. What would I have loved to see differently? I would have loved to see your hand gestures. It would have helped me to communicate, to connect with your message clearly. I could see mostly your face. I know you had hand gestures, but I couldn't see them because it wasn't in the frame. I also noticed that you had you had a number of transitions, right? I love the type of transitions that you had. And you gave this example about large organizations, the challenges in large organizations, and all that. But for that particular piece, I would have also loved to see additional examples that you gave that particularly spoke to you. The reason why I'm picking these few things are because the previous speakers have already highlighted a lot of commendations for you, recommendations for you. So I'll try as much as possible not to repeat what others have said, but also try to share my highlights. I also observed that you spoke mostly monotonously. At the beginning, your energy was up, but as you progressed towards the end of your speech, your voice was mostly monotonous. It would be great to add vocal variety to your speech. Those inflections, slowing down, raising the volume, that variety ensures that your speakers are engaged when they are hearing the words and they're not all sounding the same. Nobody's sleeping off. Everybody is active and actively listening to you. So I love that in all you were able to speak to your topic. You had great content, you had great message, but I would love for you to work on the structure of your speech so that you're able to, even while presenting, you may not have had to read or you may not have had to memorize. The moment you have a very good structure, an opening, a body, a closing, and you're able to signpost where you are in your speech, it will be easy for you to have those transitions. So kudos to you, Zalum, and I look forward to more speaking engagements with you where we are going to be able to learn more from your faith. Our next speaker was Femi Omoshen, and for Femi, your topic was fear of job replacement and lack of AI literacy. Pardon my French. What I'm trying to dramatize is that yes, the topic was punchy, but it was quite long. Imagine that you had to speak on that topic and it was supposed to be part of a conference. And the moment you started reading out the title, people are like, "Ah, I'm already tired." I feedback straight up for the topic, even for most people in the room. I think I just had maybe one or two topics that were succinct, straight to the point, and quite easy to understand. The others sounded like dissertations, including this one. So my feedback would be try to make your topic punchy enough so that once people hear the topic, they say, wow, this is what I would listen to. So that feedback is for everybody in the room. You had very great opening, right? It stirred up the audience. You painted a picture. Imagine when AI takes over and this happens. You painted two scenarios at the beginning, and that level of audience engagement means that you're spurring your audience to pay attention, to listen to you, to participate.
And you went on to share why it was important, why it was vital, the fears, and all that. But I also particularly love that you were able to insert researches. So while you spoke, I heard, oh, there's a research by XYZ, and you mentioned that. You went on to also mention another research. But feedback for the researchers also, when people listen to you speak, they also should be able to reference what you have said. So even if you use a research or you use a quote or you use a particular statistic, that reference that you make is not just for reference sake. You are saying it so that any other person in the room is able to say, okay, this research by these people in this particular year, or for this team or for this topic, then it's easier for them to find it wherever they are and make sense of the data as you have mentioned. Your your description, I love the storytelling that you had in it, but fantastic way to structure your speech. It was very easy to understand. We were able to follow you from the beginning to end, and you had very good vocal variety. I was able to follow you through your speech. I will go on then to our next speaker, and our next speaker was Deborah Nkor. And for Deborah, your topic was around. Oh, apologies, please. I had something that I wrote down here for Femi that I missed. Please, I'll go back to it quickly. Femi, I love the fact that you used an acronym. Acronyms are unforgettable. So if anybody forgets anything that happened here, we would all remember the human framework. And you went on to share honesty, upskilling, mindset change, augmentation, and the likes. What does that do for your audience? It makes your speech unforgettable. No matter what you have said, the goal is to make sure that when people leave, they recall at least one thing or one message that you have shared. So I love that you did that. And it was something I said I was going to mention to you. So we move over to Deborah. And for Deborah, you began with a relatable story that has already been mentioned. And I wrote here, your voice was crisp and clear. What did I like about your speech? You had very good structure, you had very good transitions, and there is something that I would like to note here. There was a point where you were speaking and you said, some are this and this is not, some are this and this is not. You did that 3 times and you tried to juxtapose 2 different things to give an example. I love that use of parallel structure. What it does for you is that once you keep repeating things and people keep hearing it, you've put the nail on the head already, but you're driving it home. So it makes your message very relatable and very easy to connect with. I also noticed that you gave several work-related examples, and I think one of the evaluators have already given that feedback here. When you say many Nigerians are this, when you say many are not, right? Let's note that. It's good to have statistics or numbers to go with it. However, you had used several work-related examples. And using those type of examples means that you're able to connect with your audience. People are able to say, oh, yes, I recall a time when this happened to me or happened to someone I know. So great use of those examples. What else? Okay, finally, your body language. I was able to see your hand within the frame. If you're speaking and it's virtual, it's great to have your hand accompany your movement. Sometimes this also may also apply to others. If it's just too much and it's too fast, then you might disconnect or lose your audience. But the moment you're able to uh, put put your hands within the frame and enhance what you're speaking with the use of your hands, then it's a great way to do it. So I really loved the hand gestures that you used. And finally, I love that you delivered and you landed your speech on time. So kudos to you. I will then move on to Oluwayemisi. And your topic was around fairness and equity and implementation within the organization. Love, love, love that you started with a case study before you went on to your greeting. What does that do for you? It breaks that thing that we're expecting, that you walk up on stage and say, hello, my name is Pamela Lekwachi, and I'd like to speak to you about this. That's what everybody says. So you want to stand out. So I love that you started with that case study and then you went on to give your definitions, examples, and went on to the rest of your speech. I love there was a particular transition that you used. Why am I speaking about transitions? Please note, it's also for everybody on the call. When we use transitions, it makes the difference between one point and the other clear. so that you do not lose your audience and you also carry them to the next point. There's this transition where you spoke about the moment you were done with equity, you then said that takes us to fairness. And you went on to speak about fairness. So it was a very good use of transition, what you did there. What feedback do I have for you in terms of recommendation? I noticed that at some point you were rushing through the speech and you were almost breathless. Someone had referenced time, that's quite possible. But I would advise that going forward, no matter the time constraints, you are still able to find ways to manage your energy, manage your voice in such a way that even if you are trying to rush, they will not catch you. You'll still be able to pass your message across, and everybody's also going to be better for it. And then finally, your use of, I noticed that you had a lot of high energy, your voice was quite loud, and it was going on and on. It's great for you to speak, use that level of energy, but also be aware of what you're putting out there. So, my feedback for you would be this: balance it with your voice. You can speak very quickly and you can also speak slowly. And the same, you will get the same emphasis. The human voice is special in such a manner that when people speak, no matter how loud or low it is, you are still able to make impact. Structure, structure, structure. Please, I would love for you to work on your structure. And I also love that you were still able to conclude on time. So kudos to you, MSc. And two more speakers quickly. I have Afolabi Taiwo. Afolabi Taiwo, I love that you signposted. Yes, I loved you said one, the first is this, the second is this, thirdly, and you went on to give your reasons. You also had some rhetorical questions in there. How does HR foster employee voice? And you went on to answer. You mentioned the use of surveys and some examples, and I have a feedback for you here. And this is speaking to filler words. Once again, when I speak to you about filler words, I'm not saying you are the only one that had filler words, but I'm referencing it here. When you use filler words when you speak, it seems like, oh, the words are not yet coming. I'm thinking about the next thing to say. And so once you say, so the second reason is that once you do that, you may start losing your audience. So I'm calling your attention to this and also other speakers in the room that if the words are not coming, just slow down, take a pace, take a pause, and then speak. That way, it will reduce the occurrences of the filler words that you're putting into your speech. But did I follow you? Yes. Was your message clear? Yes. And I would have loved to see more of your features on the virtual screen. This was not a physical meeting, so I just saw only your face, right? It would help for us to be able to see more of your body and let us see your body language while you speak. So thank you and kudos to you for being courageous, Afolabi Taiwo. And our final speaker, Chukwebuka Udaja. You started with that short story that you referenced on LinkedIn, and you went on to give us a very fantastic story about Gen Zs, their features, what they are used to. And you said, according to the report by World Economic Forum. So same thing I had referenced for someone else. If you are referencing a report by World Economic Forum, which of the reports are you referencing? It will help us to see that. Question to you. You also asked the audience a question, and that is a very great way to engage your audience. What does this do for you? I would have loved that when you ask that question, you ask them to go to the chat box because this was a virtual meeting to just put in a quick comment, right? It just shows that your audience are with you and you have not abandoned them. That was what I particularly loved about how you spoke. And I think that's it for me. Most people have already mentioned several things that that people had spoken about or areas of recommendation and commendation. But for me, I'd like to say that in terms of the content of all the speeches that we received and we heard today, this is a very great learning platform for HR people and business leaders. And I want to commend once again Dr. Liemi Adeosu for putting this together. And once again, congratulations to all our
Before you go, please, I'm putting you on the spot. In 2 or 3 minutes, can you tell people about Toastmasters? In 2 or 3 minutes.
All right. So Toastmasters International is a 101-year-old organization that is focused on leadership and public speaking. They have trained over 8 million leaders on how to speak publicly and how to just lead within their organizations. They are in over 140 countries and they have several languages. So, what do? They basically break down how to speak, break down all the elements, give you feedback, clap for you the way we have celebrated you. Then they break down everything you have done and say, you see this, go and do this no more. You see this, go and do this no more. Imagine that you receive this level of critical feedback twice a month for the next 6 months. No third speaker will be standing near you because you know all the ingredients to make that soup called public speaking. And then for leadership, you are able to serve within within your state, within your area, within your division. You are able to organize people, you're able to help, you're able to support, and that is how you learn how to lead. So Toastmasters in a nutshell is the go-to for leadership and public speaking. Just go to the website toastmastersinternational.com, type it in there. It will show you the closest location to you to attend the meeting. And if you don't know where else to go, our convener here, Dr. Luyemi Adeosho, is a distinguished Toastmaster. What that means is that I am a Toastmaster, but he's way up here. He's the Oga of Toastmasters. So if you are lost and you need any help, please do reach out to DTM Luyemi Adeosho and he will point you in the right direction. I look forward to welcoming every one of you if you show interest to improve your leadership and public speaking skills. Thank you. And
Thank you.
back to you, Dr. Lian.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just to mention on the lighter note that I met Ezine Obiora for the first time in my life in the Toastmasters Club at Delta Africa Toastmasters. And we've been friends since like forever. Madirile Amosu, who are at Rizal Smith Toastmasters Club together. So all the judges have something in common, and it's a lifelong journey. I'll be expecting the outcome of your judgments via WhatsApp, Toastmaster Pamela. It's only us we are waiting for. And anytime from now, we will be announcing the results. But I would like to take comments from as many of the participants as are interested in saying something. I would like all of us to say something. Just say something like, why did you decide to contest? Why did you choose this topic? That kind of a thing in like 1 minute. In no particular order, but I'm tempted to call Femi first, then we take Deborah. Okay, why contest? Why the topic? Any challenge or what helped in your preparation, whatever, quickly. Femi, please go on first.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I want to appreciate the opportunity. I'm very honored to be part of this particular call, and I want to thank all the evaluators for the wonderful feedbacks, and I appreciate it. For me, for the topic, because AI has been something that has been a major stuff that I've been working on for a while, and I felt that as an HR, with my little year of experience in this space, I should be able to have trained people on how to use Chat GPT, Claude, and a few number of the new AI platforms. So I felt that it's very good to bring that topic and discuss it, and thinking that it will be a blessing to people. But sir, I must thank you very much for the opportunity, and I thank all our evaluators for the feedback. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Who is going next?
If I may, since you mentioned my name initially, all right. I'd like to thank all the evaluators, the judges. I'd like to thank you, Doctor, for such a platform. Really, I've been I don't even know how to get into this. So I decided to register for this because I don't really do a lot of public speaking. I talk, I like talking, but in terms of speaking publicly, I decided to challenge myself. I've been a silent follower of the HR mentorship program. I'm on the WhatsApp platforms. I see the leadership tips you post all the time. And I picked this particular topic because the reason I am still in HR is because the person who walked me into this journey showed a very humane side to being a boss. I was dealing with certain personal struggles, just like anyone else. And she didn't look at what was happening to me in such a short period. She went into actually providing support through all those things. And I adopted some of her methods over the years. I'm almost 5 years in HR now. I've adopted some of her methods over the years, and I have seen growth and development and actually just complete creativity in the people I've had the chance to work with, in the people that I've had the chance to come across. So this topic was very near and dear to my heart. I'm grateful I get to share a platform like this with other brilliant speakers. Their topics too floored me. And I'm truly grateful for this one. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, welcome, Deborah. Who is going next?
Okay, I can go next.
Everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to the judges, to the evaluators for your feedback. So the reason why I actually decided to do this contest is I wanted to build up my public speaking skills. So yes, I've done some, facilitation for certain webinars, and I wanted to be part of this journey to be able to, see where I can improve as I, continue in building up my public speaking skills. And the reason why I chose this topic was something that occurred just some few weeks before I had to register, about where someone I looked up to, in a leader in the HR space, told me about when thinking about employee engagement, think about it from the MD's point of view, not just from how would people have fun or how would people perceive this, but think about it strategically from an MD's point of view. So that's why I started thinking about it that way. And I saw it that it's actually a strategic thing and not just a way to make people happy. So that was the reason why I chose the topic.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. The reason why I choose to talk about this topic is because I'm just transitioning into HR and I'm learning more about this space. And I was recently given the opportunity to work as an HR officer recently. So I think workplace should be a place where employees can express themselves without any fear of embarrassment or fear of being ostracized. And I believe that should a workplace should be a place where there can be collaboration between the employees and their bosses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taiwo. Ebuka.
Thank you, sir. This basically will be my second time jumping on an HR event. The first was the pitch. So I had a conviction to always participate in HR mentorship events, whether it's a hangout or a competition, whatever it is. I made up my mind this year to always show up and and deliver value in every way I can. But for the topic, it was dear to me because I work with a lot of Gen Zs, and when you listen to the conversations or the way they work, you notice a lacuna in the way they think. And I was working with one 2 months ago, and she was supposed to do something. She did this in a way different from the way I told her to do it. So out of curiosity, I wanted to understand why she did it that way. And she said, "I'm too old to understand." Me, that is not even old. So it's interesting how their mindset works. But I feel like HR leaders are not having enough conversations as to whether this generation is ready for leadership, because they like to work independently. They don't want to have responsibility. So I think these are conversations that we should drive, and it's something I'm always advocating for, both on social media and in conversations with people. I think these are conversations that should be driven, or else we are going to lose a whole generation and millennials are going to be there for the longest. So the topic was dear to me, and I felt I needed to, give a speech on it. Thank you for this amazing opportunities once again, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Oluwayemisi. You are still muted, though. You need to unmute. I don't know who used to mute you. Try again.
All right, good evening, everyone. Okay, so it's a whole lot. I must say the truth. Speaking fairness and equity. And like I said in my conclusion, not only in the organization, but in society at large. And so unfortunate that we've lost that particular word. It might be very simple, but even as a society, it what matters to everyone. From my introduction, myself, I studied industrial chemistry. I'm not from management department, but during my IT, there's a lot of things that I saw that it wasn't making sense. Sorry if that word is coming there. There is no fairness. It's like the survival of the fittest, which is supposed to be so. We actually created for a relationship, not to survive. No. And even coming to the organization, so-called the formal, because we have the informal. So coming to the formal that is structured, we still see that there is no fairness. And I had to ask someone one day, a doctor, that we said there is fairness. As HR, we preach fairness, equity. But in the real sense, is there fairness? Because when it comes to positions, you say, oh, a female cannot get this particular position. And the person qualifies 100%. The female too went to school just like the male student. They didn't say, oh, in school, the female should, relax. If you have 60, you have an A. No. So why this bias? Why this discrimination? This is unfair. How I see it. And when it comes to the so-called formal sector organizations, you see all of this in it. And we cannot move like that. We can't. Even in society, we can't go like that. We can't. And that had to, I'll wish that, we can make it public, not just in the organization alone, but in the society at large. You should be fair to one another. Just treat others the way you like them to treat you. Talk to others the way you like them to talk to you. Use words that you like them to use for you. And we have a better community, a better society, a better nation, at large, a better world. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
You're most welcome. So this is a difficult question, but please don't abstain from responding. If you vote for the best speech, but you can't vote for yourself, which would you vote for? Note, you can't vote for yourself. And you can't abstain. This is not the time to be humble. Toastmaster Pamela, we are waiting. Oh, thank you. I've seen your hand. Who is going to go first? Let me start from Taiwo Afolabi. I like your smile.
From the look of things, I think I really like the way Deborah Unko spoke about topic, and she really came out well for me.
Okay. So since you have mentioned Deborah, I'll go to Deborah next.
Wow, this is a tough one because I like so many topics, but I really, really liked Yemisi, what she spoke about, especially when she started speaking about those living with those who are differently abled. I really enjoyed it. So if I were to vote, it would definitely be hers.
Okay. So since they mentioned you, who are you voting for?
Okay, if it's going by the topic, I'd like to go with Ebuka's topic because there is no, it's a succession thing, it's a leadership thing. If there is no one to carry on, then the whole business is there. The society is there. The economy is there. It's just simple. So we need to train the person, the people coming behind, because a leader is not successful until your successor is successful. Then you can say, oh, definitely I'm successful.
But
Also.
what if it is by, so that is by topic. What about by speech?
Well,
By speech itself.
ah, everybody did well. Like everybody has their weaknesses and strengths. So I would like to be a politician. I don't know. I'm not a politician, but I just like to be in the middle. So that's basically.
Okay. Femi.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I would say Deborah for the way she presented it, the comportment, and the way she ended it. It was quite enlightening. Thank you.
Okay. Zalum. Onyechi.
Okay, so for me, I would go with Deborah as well. So I liked the passion and the her way she related to the topic. So it really seemed like something that was very dear to her. So I like the delivery as well.
Okay. Does any of you have any question for either of you?
So I haven't voted though. You skip.
I wanted to do INEC for you. Oh yeah, votes. So you are paying attention.
Midnight things.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Many amazing topics. But I think I'll go with Deborah because she was articulate and the way she presented, I saw the emotion and the passion, which aided the delivery. So yeah, my pick would be Deborah. Well done, and well done everyone. I mean, you all did amazingly well. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So any question for either of you from any of you?
Yes, please. I have a
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
I have one for Mr. Ebuka. He said
Okay.
he said something about that we might lose these agency people. I want him to just expatiate on that. We should not
In
lose them
30
now.
seconds, please.
Why are we losing them?
Okay, so succinctly, I if you look at the work ethic of the Gen Z and you juxtapose it with what leadership demands, you will notice a lacuna. Because this is a generation that, according to the facts I provided, they don't want to have responsibility. They don't want to lead teams. They just want to work independently. And the way organizations work, generations will definitely hand over the baton to the next generation. Millennials receive the baton and we are going to hand over to the next generation. If we don't groom them, if we don't change their mindset to embrace leadership, to embrace the responsibilities that comes with it, if we pamper them and let them wallow in the comfort of flexible lifestyle, I think we are going to end up having leaders in the future who does not understand what leadership entails. Leadership is hard, it's not easy. So for you to embrace it, you have to embrace it with everything it comes with. So I do not think we are going to lose a whole generation. I think most organizations are already trying to groom these leaders. That's why there are management training programs, there are graduate training programs, and they are incorporating leadership trainings into this program. So I believe more organization would do it over time. So personally, I do not think we are going to lose them. But if we continue to groom them through mentorship and coaching, we are going to have maybe a better crop of leaders from that generation. So yeah, I hope I was able
Thank
to
you.
answer your question, sir.
Thank you. I think Deborah also had a question.
Yes, my question was actually for Zalum. She spoke about collaboration, but I want to know how she approaches collaboration in her organization against two completely opposing departments or units, and how the success of that collaboration is measured. What does that? How does that play into retaining staff? Because I've experienced something like that, and they were just butting heads. We couldn't reach we couldn't reach anything positive. So Zalum.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. So, in my own experience, right, so I'm going to talk about when I was working in a consulting firm. So what I saw that happened was when we had something like an innovation challenge, right? So we had like an issue within the organization that the company or the firm wanted employees to give their own input to the problem so that it's not that where the firm is imposing their solution on us. So since it's going to be a system that everyone would need to be part of, so they opened this innovation day challenge and they said people should, choose your team members and you should choose across various units, right? Or you can even choose within your unit. So that way we saw people like someone from my unit were working with people from maybe tax, audit, and then they came up with solutions. And then there was this huge celebration of like the solutions that were provided. We had a whole event day where people came up, their groups came up to present, to say how they would solve the problem. And then the winning group got like a prize, and there was like this whole celebration around the company. So that way it fostered the collaboration that they were sort of looking for across units. And it also helps the organization solve a challenge and made employees feel like they were part of the solution because they actually did bring forth the solution to solve the challenge. So something like that. And that's why I was saying that, employee engagement activities are strategic and also can be modified along the way during the year based off of challenges that may arise in the organization.
Okay. I think we are good now. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have the final results from the judges. And our chief judge for this event is Ezine Obiora. Please do us the honors.
Okay. Good evening once again. There's been a lot of work that's been going on behind the scenes, brain work, smoke is coming out from our heads, and we have all finally reached a consensus. So I am pleased, to be the bearer of good news. So we'll get straight into it. But before we do, I just want to say to all the contestants once again, you all are rock stars. Because there are some people that have been in this profession for many years, maybe like 10 plus years. Trust me, they cannot come out and do this thing that you're doing. But you're coming out and you're telling them, because this thing is not just a national platform, it's a global platform. Do you know what it is to put yourself out there? You know how you watch a Nigerian Idol and all that, you're like, this person, did their friends tell them, did they not, speak to them or give them good advice? But you came out and you're doing this. Forget that you're not, you're in front of a live audience, but you're not in front, you're not physically there. But I mean, you all are rock stars. So I give it to you. The fact that you're out there, you're winners already. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it because I know that, hearts are beating and people are wondering. So I'm going to start from the rare, not the last, but not the least, with a total of 89 points. We want to say congratulations to Taiwo. Congratulations, Taiwo. So Taiwo came in 6th position with a total of 89 points. Please give her a round of applause. Like I said, the fact that she even came, on, because like we did see the challenges behind the scenes and, even in front of the scenes. Well done for doing something. For me, I encourage you that it's an opportunity for you to just challenge yourself to come out, bounce back better, bigger, so well done. Congratulations. And then following her in 5th position with a total of 100 points, we say congratulations to Zalem. Please give her a round of applause. Everyone I want to see round of applause. Claps, please. Congrats, Zalem Onyechi. Well done, well done, well done. And then following closely behind with a total of 116.5 points is Yemisi Oluwayemi thank you. Congratulations. Please, a round of applause for her. So that's Yemisi coming in in the fourth position. So now, gang, we're down to top 3. Can I have drum roll? So those are the people that, according to the contest, they have the prizes, the prize money. They're the ones that are going to be going home with something shaking their accounts, small. So we're going to start with the person in the 3rd position. It was a worthy, what's the word now? It was a worthy battle in quotes. But yeah, somebody has to come out tops, right? But yeah, so in 3rd place, with a total of 121 points, we give it to, drum roll, Chukwuebuka. Congratulations. So please, I want to see applauses. Please, hand claps, clap your hands, congratulate him. Not an easy feat. Well done, Chukwuebuka. Well done, well done. You're getting bronze. Bronze is a medal, so well done. And now down to the last 2. Coming on with a closely following with a total of 130 points, we give it to the one, the only Femi Omosehin. So congratulations, Femi. And of course, the first prize winner is Deborah with a total of 150 points. Please, congratulations. Please unmute yourself and congratulate her because this is amazing.
Yes. Congratulations, Deborah. Congratulations.
I mean, from the comments, I was listening to the comments. Yes, while we were doing a lot of work behind the scenes, I was listening to the comments from the fellow contestants. You can bear me witness because most of you, I believe, in fact, all of you answered when you were asked who would win. Your answer was Deborah. So you can see that the judges are impartial. We did a good job. It was a balanced evaluation. So well done once again to Deborah. Well done. Congratulations. So I'll hand over to you. I don't know if Deborah wants to say something, for winning. We don't have the music. We would have put stand up for the chat.
I almost fell out. I almost fell out of my seat.
Well
I wasn't expecting this. I'm truly grateful. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm truly grateful. Everybody, Femi, Zalum, Yemisi, Taiwo, and Ebuka, congratulations. I entered this competition. Honestly, I didn't even see the money. It was okay, you're going out to speak. And I am so grateful I took the step forward. This is not just a win for me, it's a win for everybody. Please, when the next one comes up, run and register. It's too real, man. I am so grateful. Thank you to the judges. Mr. Aderele Amosu. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Ezinne. I've registered Toastmasters here, so you may be hearing from me very soon. I'm battling a cold. I woke up with a cold and a fever, but thank you so much. I am so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nothing more to say.
Well done, Deborah. I'll hand over to Dr. Yemi. Thank you, Doctor. And before I hand over, thank you to my fellow judges because, hey, it was not a one-man job. Thank you to my fellow judges. You did an amazing job. In fact, I was taking notes from your own evaluations. We learned everything. So thank you. It's always an honor and a pleasure to do this. Doctor, thank you so much for the platform to do this. Thank you. Thank you. So over to you, Doctor.
We have 2 more minutes and we're out of here. Let me start by saying we got additional funding. We have very kind people here. So the 6th, 5th, and 4th, you are getting 5,000 naira each. Someone said, no, you must get something for your effort, for your data. So 5,000 naira each, consolation prize for 6th, 5th, and 4th. The 3rd, you'll be getting, the first is getting 50,000 naira, and then 25,000 for the 2nd, and 20,000 for the 3rd. God bless everyone who has funded this initiative from their own free will initiative. We appreciate you. God bless you. Like to celebrate all the contestants. We don't take this for granted that you came out. I am personally super proud of you. I also want to celebrate all the judges. I reached out to all of them without hesitation. They moved things around to be available. None of them was idle. None of them had an open calendar. But just because this is what we were doing, all of them moved things around just to be here and we celebrate. Last but not the least, what is a contest without participants? We want to thank everybody that joined this session today, especially from the beginning, and people who joined even in the middle. Thank you for your comment. Thank you. I saw your emojis, your emoticons. It's really made the competition interesting and engaging. Just so we know, in 2 weeks' time, we are going to be having another competition, which is a debate. So that one is Glasgow's. I'm also happy that many of the contestants today are also debating. So in case you see them again, so don't be, it's a free world. But there are still, participation in the debate is still open. All right. Very simple topic. Men or women who are the better HR leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very engaging, interesting time. God bless you. Good night. Cheers. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.